Valerie 23, Valerie 23, come and see me. I'm the same boy I used to be. All right, so what do you think of that? That's my intro to Valerie 23, and you're going, what the hell is that? Well, we're going to dig into that tonight. It's actually an episode of The Outer Limits. So, I hope you're doing well. And what am I drinking tonight? It's going to be coffee. To keep my throat from closing up on me and me making very loud noises when I clear my throat. So, let's get underway with Valerie 23. So, to start with, we want to basically look at what this was about. It was actually an episode, like I mentioned, of The Outer Limits, but before we dive into that, I'd like to talk a little bit about The Outer Limits and the old series, the new series. I like both of them, but I particularly like the 90s series. I thought it had a lot of great actors showing up who, were just starting out. Ryan Reynolds is in it. There's a lot of recognizable faces as you go through it, as you watch the episodes. As well as I really appreciated, it was shot in Vancouver, and so I'm always touting Vancouver, and it being like Hollywood North back in the day, when X-Files sort of launched every kind of sci-fi and kind of weird type media, just exploded after people realized that you could actually make things like the X-Files and it could be successful. So with that out of the way, we're digging into this series of The Outer Limits. So the old Outer Limits was, it was black and white, and it was known for being really good for stories and for also seeing actors in their earliest roles. And the biggest thing that I remember from The Outer Limits, I wasn't around when it first came out, but I saw it in reruns, of course, like Gilligan's Island and all those other shows. One of the things I really appreciated about it was the monsters, the aliens. Typically it was very alienish. There's lots of aliens in it. So whereas the Twilight Zone was sort of maybe supernatural, there were aliens on occasion, but this was really all about the alien thing. In this picture you can see some of them. We're going to get into them. So here's one of the famous ones. To me this always looked like ice with some flashlights behind it. I don't know how they did the effect, but that's always what it reminded me of. One of the aliens. I'll check out this guy, Gillface. He's pretty awesome. And of course they had, the big fish coming out of the water there. You can tell it's paper mache, but it's still cool. It's, you gotta think about it. It's the 60s. Yeah, look at this thing. That's pretty awesome, right? Look at these creatures. Awesome. This guy. I love this guy. This is awesome. And think about it. This is all practical effects. This is all makeup. This is having to, and this is back in the days of black and white. So you can imagine the prosthetics and the makeup and the stuff that went onto this guy's head to make it look like that. Look at this thing. This thing is awesome. It kind of, I hate to say it, but it kind of looks like a pile of, anyway, with an eye in it. So, yeah, there you go. And look at this guy. Now that's awesome. I think that is so cool. Look at that face and that chin and the eyebrows. That is cool. And now this, this is awesome. Look at this thing. This looks kind of cheap. But yeah, it's awesome. Some of the monsters and aliens are better than others. Here's here's a good example of one that isn't that great. Yeah, okay. So yeah, there you go. Well, there it is. Yeah. Now this one is the Zanti Misfits. These were like they did like stop motion, kind of like ant people from, kind of like a morality tale at the end of it. So yeah, I love this one. Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So you got to check out this thing, the Zanti Misfits, and look at the detail. Look at what went into this. This is like these are practical effects, man. These are little puppets and not puppets, but models, right? Check that out. So in a way, like I think The Outer Limits was more like one of the first series I remember that really focused in on like almost like body horror. So yeah, look at that. That is awesome. The Outer Limits, bulging eyes. I mean, that looks like something right out of what was it? Total Recall. But anyway, somebody did a little thing there. And here's another one. Now this is this is an example where like, okay, to me this one didn't work. This is a fail. But somebody did a little mock-up of this thing. And yeah, there it is. Pretty awesome. And of course, like I mentioned, you wanted to see some actors in their first roles. Here you go. Before Star Trek rolled around, still in black and white, we got the Shatner. And of course, Shatner is doing what he does best. In this case, he's got a little bit of a problem with his hands there, but he's doing what he does best, and that is the overacting. Now look at that. Oh, what is he seeing? It makes you think, oh, what is he looking at? Oh, this is scary looking. Oh, and then, all right, like you can obviously see the precursor to Khan. So yeah, awesome. And then what is he really looking at? What's he freaking out about? This. It's like a Barbie doll, like gone bad. It's so clearly some of the aliens are better than others. And hey, who else do you think we'd see on the old Outer Limits? Well, of course, it's Leonard Nimoy. So yeah, and so let's bring us right into the new version, in the 90s. What do we see in the 90s? We see Nimoy again, Leonard Nimoy, reprising essentially, not reprising, but I guess in the same episode as he was like ages before. So that's really cool. So yeah, he basically would remake iRobot 31 years later, and he's looking really mad in this picture. Apparently his son or something directed it or something. I don't know. But anyway, he's either looking, kind of angry or just old. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two. All right, so this is going to be about the updated Outer Limits. And it was a pretty awesome series, and it went for actually 7 seasons, if you can believe it. 7 seasons. And when we talk about seasons, we're not talking about today's seasons. Like today's seasons, it's maybe like 6, 8, 10 is a lot for a Netflix season. These days, back in those days, it was 20 plus. Often it was 20 plus episodes in a season. So you can imagine how many episodes they had to shoot and the schedules they had to keep to get them out. So yeah, I love this alien here is pretty awesome. That is a great I don't know, special makeup, I guess, costuming. Yeah, really cool. So back to why I started off with the singing in the first place, and that was Valerie 23. That was an episode that stood out. It was I guess technically the 3rd episode of the first season, really the second, because the first episodes were Sand Kings, and they were like a two-parter. So realistically, this is the first episode or second episode after the initial launch of the series. And Sand Kings was awesome. It's a great. I could have done a just as easily done a video on that, but I just decided to pick Valerie 23 because I just remember it standing out as such a great show. So we're just going to flip into a few of the scenes here. It starred William Sadler, great actor. I remember him well from a lot of different shows, particularly, what was that? It was an alien show around 2000-ish. What was it? Roswell, the actual good Roswell. Yeah, he plays a sheriff in that one. But anyway, in this one, he plays a guy who's, and it has Nancy Allen, which I think I mentioned it from a previous video. She was in things like Carrie and Dress to Kill, I think. I think that she was in that too. But she was kind of a popular 70s actress. And then all of a sudden she kind of, and then she was in RoboCop, and then she kind of disappeared from my recollections. And then she shows up in this, and I thought, oh, Nancy Allen, oh, cool. And I watched the show ages ago, of course. And I thought, hey, this is really cool. It's nice to see her back in the saddle again. So yeah, it's basically about a guy. He's developing synthetic skin, and as it turns out, he's in a wheelchair. And so the company that he's working for, they're working on well, first of all, he meets this nice girl, and oh, she's pretty cute. And apparently she was a Canadian actress and singer back in the 90s. I think she was in The Crow. I forget her name, but yeah, very beautiful woman. But yeah, she was this, he meets her and goes, oh, wow, and then he's introduced to her in a lab, and he realizes, oh wow, she's an android. What? So yeah. So this guy's a lonely guy. He's he's on his own, and he's finding it hard to get the dates and stuff, and he's spending a lot of time alone, and they're trying to say, hey, think about bringing home this robot, like it's sort of like a Tesla robot, but in a nicer format. And I think this is what makes this particular thing stand out even now, because we're in the age of AI and OpenAI and Tesla robots, and we're not that far off. I can see that some of this stuff coming maybe within the next 20 years, right? Anyhow, so this is what makes this kind of a standout episode. So yeah, he's going, okay, well, he's kind of feeling lonely. And, he's got this, here's Nancy Allen. And, he's got this therapist who helps him, kind of, with physiotherapy, I guess, is what you call it. And she's there helping him out. And, he likes her, obviously. But, she's not going for it. This is a professional relationship here, So, all right, so they're kind of pressuring him. Hey, we gotta market this new robot. We're thinking that we could market it toward people who could use some help. Like a person maybe in a wheelchair, right? So take this thing home. Come on. And so they pressure him, and he's on the project, working on the skin. He feels like obligated. He has to do it, so he does it. And so she comes to his place, and they're eating dinner, and he isn't into it, like, it's a robot, man. I can't believe this is like a real companion. Come on, this isn't really solving my loneliness issues. And so she's making every effort to, be the companion that he needs. And of course, he's like blowing her off and making, not being very nice. And of course, they built her with emotions, right? That's the idea. And so she's like, okay, she's not happy, right? And she's crying. And then, okay, so she's not fulfilling her purpose. She's kind of sad. And so then, later on, like, okay, there's another attempt here to try and be his companion here, and of course they're watching a movie, and she makes the move because she sees it on TV and that kind of thing. So yeah, and then he's going, oh my God, like this is too weird, man. I'm like necking with the robot. I don't like this. So he takes off, and then he goes to a bar, and when you're lonely, sitting in a bar by yourself, having a drink, and you're seeing all these people and relationships, it's just like, oh, this is the worst. So anyway, he gets home, and of course at this point he's just like a broken man, and he falls for the robot. Okay, so now you're in trouble because you don't want to have a relationship with a robot. Okay, just take it from me, you don't want it. And this is a cautionary tale. If you ever had thought about having a relationship with a robot, watch this show and just get yourself straightened out. So there's this, right? So okay, and so now he's like, later on, he's seeing his physiotherapist, and she's like, okay, give me 10, give me 20. Anyway, so he's like still kind of going, hey, why don't we go out for dinner or something, some drinks. She's like, no, I got another thing. I got to be professional. But meanwhile she's got this loser boyfriend or something. So finally she goes, okay, let's give it a shot. You're a nice guy. I like you. So they go out for drinks. Well, I think they're gonna have some food or something too. But anyway, they get together, and they're it's a first date thing, and you can see the body language there. It's not that comfortable yet. But anyway, so they're kind of sitting there, and they're trying to get to know each other, and date world. This is before all this all these swipe left, swipe right stuff. You had to actually do some work. So yeah, so there you go. And so they're kind of trying to do the first date thing, and lo and behold, look who's looking in the window. Yep, it's the robot fembot. She's not happy. So what? Now we've got a fembot, real woman, and a dude love triangle. That can't work out well. So I could go on here. I could ruin this whole show for you. I'm going to leave it here. There's a lot that I've left out. There's an entire ending. Lots of other scenes and events going on in this video, and I want you to see it for yourself. I posted it to archive.org. I recommend seeing it. So I hope you liked my little synopsis of the first little bit of Valerie 23 from the 1990s Outer Limits. And that's going to be it. Hope you're having a good one, and I'll talk to you in the next one.